now we are going to practice at being able to identify our variables. So for our directions state, for each question, identify the independent variable, dependent variable, and 3 control variables. So let's just remember, independent variables are the ones being changed. Dependent variables are the ones being measured. And controls are the constants or remain the same. Also, I gave you guys a little formula, a plug and play system on how to identify the variables easier in a question format. And since all of these are questions, we are going to write down that format. So questions all start with what 2 words? How does. And remember, I like to underline these words. And after that question, after the how does, there is a variable. And if you remember, independent variables are always written first. Next, we have that connecting word. And if you remember, it is effect. I like to circle this word. After the word effect, we can always find our dependent variable. So let's try it. Our question, how does the type of music affect plant growth? So we are going to underline our how does. And then remember, I just look for the next word, the connecting word, effect. So how does the type of music, and here, effect. So I'm going to circle it. And what did we say comes in between how does and effect? Which variable is that? Independent variable. So how does and effect in between is the type of music. So again, we know that type of music is our independent variable because it's in between how does and effect, because in between how does and effect is our independent variable. Next, we want to find our dependent variable. That's our next blank, our next question. And where in our formula is our dependent variable? All the way at the end, after the circled word effect. So whatever's after the word effect is our dependent variable. So here we circled effect, and after it is plant growth. Then the last part of identifying variables is controls, or what needs to stay the same. So in each of these situations, you guys are going to need to think about the fact that you are in this experiment. You are doing this experiment. So the question your teacher gives you or I give you is, how does the type of music affect a plant? So you're going to be playing types of music because that's being changed by you. The type of music is being changed. And we're measuring, because it's the dependent variable, plant growth. So what are some other things, if we're measuring plant growth, that need to stay the same? What I think of is, what else does a plant need that could make it grow? Oh, well, it needs sun. So the amount of sun should stay the same. You probably said it needs water. So the amount of water you give it needs to stay the same. And lastly, what else? Where do plants grow? What do they need underneath them? You guys might have thought like food, but yeah, it's soil, the nutrients in the soil it needs. So like the same kind of soil. You don't want one growing in a desert and one growing in Miracle-Gro. So that's what you're going to be doing for each one. I will help you set up a few that I know are a little bit tricky. So number 2, again, talks about plant growth. So if you're lost, go back and look at number 1. I know that for question 3, brands of paper towel affecting strength is a little tricky for some people. Think about those commercials you see where it's like Brawny, Pick a Upper, or I don't even know, Viva paper towel. I don't know the brands of paper towels, but think about when they're, or even toilet paper. Think about when they're trying to like prove the strength of something. What do they put on that paper towel? What do they show them wiping up the paper towel with? So that would be your control variables. So if you're trying to show the strength and you're measuring strength, what needs to be cleaned up or what needs to be taken care of that needs to stay the same? For a type of music that affects a cat's behavior, just think about things that cats need. So we thought about what plants need. Think about what a cat might need. Same for birds. Think about what birds do, where they live, when they live. This one's about plants again, so we went through that one. For this one, think about balloons. Think about things that can change about a balloon besides the color. And I hope those tips helped you out.